Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you for taking the time to watch this latest video. Please don't be shy, hit that subscribe button, click that thumbs up, and ring that bell for notifications of newly posted content. Feel free to leave a comment or three because we all know that YouTube loves to see the comments. I'm not going to lie, I'm super excited about this video. The lore nerd in me is bouncing off the walls because I think I may be onto something. Or this theory could come crashing down around me like so many others before it. Oh well, it's fun just thinking about what ifs, so here goes. As most of us who pay attention to this stuff have noticed, Blizzard has been laying the Anduin Arthas parallels on pretty thick since Battle for Azeroth. Hell, the post-battle for Undercity cinematic is almost a scene-by-scene recreation of the Arthas Returns to Lordaeron cinematic from Warcraft 3. A lot of the far-out theories have speculated that Anduin is actually Arthas' secret love child. I don't buy that for a minute. Yeah, there's the blonde hair and the whole paladin priest light thing, but they aren't the only two Goldilocks pallies that have ever trotted on Azerothian soil. Plus, that would absolutely destroy the relationship that has been established between Anduin's actual parents, Varian and Tiffin Wrynn. So why has Blizzard been teasing the Anduin Arthas connection so hard for over 2 years? Well, there's a couple of things they're trying to do. One, they are pushing the narrative that while there are a lot of similarities between Anduin and Arthas, namely the looks, the affinity for the light, and their royal stations, Anduin has chosen a different road to travel. All of the mistakes that Arthas made, Anduin is not repeating. And I say this as someone who completely understands why Arthas did the things he did. The razing of Stratholme was tragic, but there was no other choice. Those civilians would have turned and attacked the rest of Lordaeron. There was no cure for the Plague of Undeath. There still is no cure. The fact that Jaina and Uther were willing to let them suffer, then kill them, says more about them than it does Arthas. Was it a horrible situation? Yes. Absolutely yes. No doubt. But Jaina and Uther both refused to even consider that Arthas could have possibly have been right. They dismissed him out of hand and walked, which drove the paladin further down the road of damnation. Now ask yourself if Anduin would have done the same. And the answer is a big fat no. He never would have killed civilians, regardless if they were doomed to suffer and turn undead. He never would have sailed to Northrend. He never would have touched Frostmourne. He never would have let blind vengeance drive him to the point of complete blindness. Arthas certainly did. So all these parallels that Blizzard has been showing us has actually been showing the glaring contradictions between the two as well. The second reason they're doing all of this is to set up the reintroduction of Arthas into the main story. And yes, my friends, it's coming. And if one of my two possible theories is right, we may be further into the next chapter of Arthas' story than we originally thought. This all revolves around Kingsmourne, and specifically how it was made. In my mind, there are two possibilities. In the cinematic Sylvanas' Choice, we see Kingsmourne being crafted. Sylvanas enters the area and informs the jailer that Denathrius has been defeated and taken. The jailer responds in a very interesting way. When Sylvanas asks what the plan is for rescuing the Venthyrs' former leader, the jailer says,
"Every soul has its purpose. Denathrius has fulfilled his."
Now, when I first heard that, and the jailer reaches into that little portal to a loon knows where, and withdraws that soul gem, I immediately thought it was infused with at least part of Denathrius' soul. It couldn't have been his complete soul because that was imprisoned inside his own mourneblade, Remornia. And it just made sense on the surface. Every soul has a purpose, and Denathrius has fulfilled his. Boom. Easy, right? He's fulfilled his purpose, and now I'm using his soul to make this really cool weapon. Haha, joke's on him. The more I thought about this though, and how Blizzard likes to build layers of subterfuge into their cinematics, and Taron Gregory is really good at his job, the more I thought that this most certainly was another feint. No way that's even a small part of Denathrius' soul. So whose soul is in that gem? Zaval's? Maybe, but I don't think so. The jailer isn't dumb, and I'm really starting to believe that he has no soul to split and throw around like candy anyway. So no, I don't believe it's his. So that leads me to the theory number 1. That soul gem belongs to one Arthas Menethil. Think about it. We know he's been in the mall since we ganked him on top of Iceground Citadel, stole Invincible, and Devos and Uther hijacked his soul and chucked him into the Shadowlands version of the Pit of Despair. I believe it's also safe to assume that the jailer knew immediately when his soul arrived, because Arthas was supposed to be his herald of destruction. He would know when he died, and he would know when he entered the mall. It would also make sense that the jailer would have immediately grabbed Arthas' soul and stored it away for later use, probably in a secret pocket universe that can only be accessed by the jailer himself. And what better soul to use to make a new mourneblade than the dudes that once wielded the most powerful mourneblade that had ever existed up until that point in time. Yes, Arthas' soul would be perfect to infuse into Kingsmourne, the most powerful Lich King ever being used to make the Lich King version 2.0. The momentary lapse of control over Anduin that we see in the Kingsmourne cinematic also makes sense. Whatever was left of Arthas at the end of Wrath of the Lich King was not evil, and we know that even when he was the Lich King there was a tiny bit of Arthas Menethil left, and that he was doing everything he could to hold the full onslaught of the Scourge at bay. So if that is Arthas' soul in Kingsmourne, he is probably trying to fight it with everything he's got left. He would be trying to help Anduin. Maybe that brief loss of control, when Anduin seems to snap out of it, was when Arthas momentarily broke the hold over Anduin's mind. It was only a few seconds, but it's proof that he's fighting. It is also another explanation of the look of shock and recognition we see in Uther's face when he sees Anduin and Bastion. Not only did he see a little of Arthas and Anduin walking by him, he actually felt Arthas because his soul, the same soul that he punted into the mall, was powering a mourneblade 2 feet away from him. In the end, if that is indeed Arthas, this is how I think he'll be brought back into the story. It will be his final act of redemption, helping Anduin break the jailer's hold over him and allowing the rest of us heroes the split second we need to win the day. We know that souls devoured by a mourneblade aren't completely eradicated or dominated. We saw this with Uther and Tyrannus after they had been sucked up by Frostmourne. They were able to project images of themselves to lend advice and warnings to the rest of us, so it is certainly possible that Arthas could do the same in an effort to help us help Anduin. So that's how I'm leaning right now, kids. Arthas' soul is powering Kingsmourne, and he's going to be instrumental in helping Anduin and the rest of us break the jailer's hold and stop him from obliterating creation. So if I'm wrong, there is one other possibility. This one is a bit of a stretch, but I could totally see it. It too makes sense when you think about it. It's also just heart-wrenching. It could be someone else's soul powering that blade. Not the jailer's, not Denathrius's, not Arthas's. It could be Varian Wren's. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did I just say that? Yes. Yes, I did. Now I know what you're saying. Varian died before the machine of death broke, and there's no way in hell, no pun intended, that King Varian Wren would have gone to the mall, naturally. Well, you're absolutely right on both counts. However, Varian could have ended up in Revendreth. Now, I don't see it either. It would not have been my first choice for him. I certainly would have picked Maldraxxus or maybe Bastion for Varian, but stranger things have happened. I mean, for the love of Christ, how did old Blanchy end up in Revendreth? What the hell did that horse do to end up living an afterlife of anguish and regret? So maybe, just maybe, Varian had self-doubt that we didn't see. He did do some questionable things. He also could be extraordinarily arrogant. I would have thought that his noble correction at the end of his life, and certainly his heroic deeds on the Broken Shore, would have erased all of those negative things, but I wouldn't be floored if they didn't. So for the sake of argument, let's just say I'm right and Varian ended up in Revendreth. Do you remember what happened to 99% of the souls in Revendreth? Yeah. When Denathrius' treachery was revealed, he ripped the zone apart and sent all of those souls straight into the mall and to the jailer. Shortly after that, we see the jailer open a small portal and pluck out a shiny blue, Alliance blue at that, soul gem, right after stating, "Every soul has its purpose." He then gives the gem to his mall blacksmith, and that guy inserts it into where? Oh yeah, into Charlemagne, Varian's own effing sword, to create the most powerful mourneblade ever. A mourneblade that was made specifically to control Varian's son, Anduin. How messed up is that? If it is very empowering Kingsmourne, again a perfect name for the new mourneblade, as it is powered by one fallen king to ultimately control another fallen king, Kingsmourne indeed, his ability to continue to fight would still hold up. Him loosening the hold over Anduin, even briefly, is proof of that. Also keep in mind that the momentary loss of control over Anduin happened without the jailer's knowledge, as he clearly says the vessel performed flawlessly at the end of the Kingsmourne cinematic. Well, it most certainly did not perform flawlessly, as Anduin was himself for a couple of seconds. So whomever is fused into Kingsmourne can push back without the jailer knowing about it, which could be pivotal in our fight against him. Well, there it is, my friends. I could actually see both of these possibilities, and right now I think I would rather it be Arthas in that blade. But damn, it would be gut-wrenching if it turned out to be Varian. Anduin never got to say goodbye to his father, so in the end, in our final act to shatter Kingsmourne, he could finally get to do so, and maybe give Turtle thanks for his father guiding him one last time. Damn, that's making me tear up just thinking about it. Now I've ruined my own evening. Well, I'll get over it. That's it for this video. What do you guys think? Could Arthas or Varian be the king in Kingsmourne? Let me know if you think I'm crazy or if I'm onto something. As always, this is Scotch, one half of Sour Mash and Scotch. Thank you again for taking the time to check out this video. Please click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment or four. We have to always try to please those YouTube algorithm gods. I hope you all have a great day, take care, and have fun. Until next time.